Hey, so welcome back to another PvP video. This time it's on the Kingdom Cup. So for this first round, I actually forgot to record, sorry. But I did win with my Bronzong strategy. So my Bronzong strategy is to lead with Bronzong, because Bronzong beats Lucario, Lapras, and Altaria with one shield. So this is against Howard Garwong, and we're gonna see just how this matchup plays out. So I lead with Bronzong, and he leads with Lucario. Now, remember I said that Bronzong wins with one shield? So he actually swaps out here after his first power-up punch. Now my strategy would have been to block that first power-up punch, and then beat the Lucario with my Bronzong. But since he switched to Altaria, my Bronzong will be able to get 2 heavy slams off without shielding. That puts a lot of hurt on the Altaria. Now I can throw in my own Altaria and just fast move his Altaria down. Now he's stuck with a Flygon and the Lucario that I know is in the back, and Altaria should be able to handle this by herself. Alright, so that's it for the battle number 1. Battle number 2, you're gonna see something messed up here. So I don't know if I'm just destined to lose to Howard Garwong every time I fight him in a tournament, but pay attention to my charge move here. So he does his power up punch, but look, my Bronzong does 2 fast moves even though I click on the heavy slam, which was already 2 fast moves ago, and that causes me to lose that matchup. Plus, there's this swap bug where it just blocks your charge moves and you can't click any of them. So I'd use a Shadow Ball here hoping he won't shield it, and then I use it again. But I think the idea there, or the better move there, was to power up punch first, and then Shadow Ball. Because I think he was expecting the Shadow Balls right off the bat because of how long it took me to get a charge move off. And now my Altaria is stuck against Bastiodon. That's yay. So battle number 3, I stuck with my Bronzong strategy, which I shouldn't have because he leads with Bastiodon. This is really the only counter to the Bronzong strategy aside from Charizard lead, but Bastiodon lead seems like a better move than a Charizard lead. So now my Bronzong stuck against his Bastiodon. He doesn't have to shield anything. I'm just trying to put out as much damage as I can with Heavy Slam, and it's actually chunking the Bastiodon quite well. Now, I could have shielded that, but I didn't want to because I have to save a shield for Lucario. So my Altaria goes out against his Altaria, except he has a shield advantage, so I just Sky Attack, and I should be able to get 2 Sky Attacks off against an Altaria. But I didn't. That's because I took two fast attacks from the Bastiodon, and that took down my Altaria just enough where he couldn't get 2 charge moves off. And that's pretty much game. This is my only 2-1 game, and every other game from here on was 2-0. So next up is Chicken Sob. I fought against Chicken Sob in the Twilight Cup finals match in Chino Hills as well. So once again, I go with my Bronzong strategy. Bronzong's against Lapras, and as we know, Bronzong does win this with 1 shield. I'm not sure why I opted out not to shield in that scenario, but my strategy in my mind would have been to shield that so that I could knock his Pokemon out and then get him stuck with a different Pokemon and I wouldn't be on a swap lockout. In the end, it works out because my Altaria is against his Dragonair, and Altaria wins this matchup. Lastly is Blaziken, but he has no shields and I have Power Up Punch with. So I'm just gonna fast move him down after this goes off, and that's it for that game. So battle number 2, Bronzong strategy again, except against Skarmory. Now I don't know how this matchup works because I didn't think anyone would bring Skarmory, but I'm assuming Bronzong does do fine because he's Steel type, and Flying won't do that hot against him. And as we can see here, that's exactly what's going on. Bronzong's putting on some hurt, no shields required, and Skarmory's pretty much gonna go down here. So now Lucario is against his Dragonair, and this is a this is a fine matchup for Lucario. I think Lucario actually wins this. Plus, it sets him up for power-up punches to go against his next Pokemon. So Frostlass comes out, I'm just gonna Sky Attack. Frostlass wins this matchup because of the ice moves, Altaria being double weak to that. So Avalanche goes down, but since my Lucario's had some energy saved up, I was just able to Shadow Ball since I saw that he had no shields left. And that's it for that game. Next up is Naruto Kurama 9. He has Frostlass, Bastiodon, Flygon, Lucario, Altaria, and Charizard. So I'm just gonna go with the same strategy. So this is a pretty bad matchup for me. Bronzong against Bastiodon is a really bad matchup. This is really one of the only matchups that Bronzong loses to. But surprisingly, he's doing better than I thought. So I decided I'm just gonna let him drop. The Bastiodon's taking a lot of damage already. And so Lucario gets enough energy for almost a full power-up punch. So now there's this mirror matchup, but I noticed that his Altaria is dropping way too quick here. I don't know if it's the IVs. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's the IVs. So you can see that he might have had like an 80% IV Altaria or something, because mine's like around 99. That's a 20% difference right there. So now my Altaria was able to get a Sky Attack off on his Lucario, but my Lucario has Power Up Punch ready. So, one Fast Attack, and his Lucario is down. Battle number 2. Same strategy. Bronzong lead, but now, this is what I'm talking about. Charizard lead is a really bad matchup for Bronzong. Charizard is able to get a Blast Burn off in only 4 Fire Spins, so I'm not sure what happened here. I think he went for 1 extra, or he doesn't actually have Blast Burn. So he's just spamming Dragon Claw. That matchup could have been much worse for my Bronzong. And that's probably the only reason why I won this match. So now Lucario against Lucario, I get a power-up punch off, and his Lucario is pretty much dead. So Altaria's left. I'm gonna shield this just in case it's Shadow Ball, but it's not. Now I had 2 shields left there, so I thought it was fine to waste 1, even though it could have been a power-up punch. So now it's my Altaria against his Frostlass. I have a shield advantage, and Frostlass would have won this if I didn't have that shield advantage. And that's it for round 4. Round 5, I'm against Map 1-1. He has Lapras, Blaziken, Flygon, Altaria, Bastiodon, and Lucario. So you know, I'm gonna go with the same strategy. Bronzong against Lapras this time. So now we know that Bronzong wins this matchup with 1 shield. So what I'm gonna do is take the first Surf, and then I'm gonna use my Heavy Slam. And then if the opponent shields my Heavy Slam, I wanna mirror that shield and then shield his Surf. So I get off my second Heavy Slam, and per my plan, I was supposed to shield the Surf. But for some reason during the match, I felt like I didn't want to shield. And times like that, you kinda gotta go with your gut feeling. Because as we're gonna see here, it sets up the Lucario to just sweep his entire team. I still have 2 shields up, and he has none left. My Lucario is in a very good position with a Power Punch up ready for his next Pokemon, which just so happens to be Lucario. 1 more punch and that Lucario is down. So as we saw there, I kinda deviated from my game plan, and it worked out. But it could have also not worked out. Yeah, you gotta do it in a play-by-play basis, you know. So now we see the Bronzong Blaziken matchup, and it just destroys Blaziken. I only need the fast move, and that Blaziken is down. So here, Lucario's power-up punching. I'm gonna shield because I know I can get a Heavy Slam off, and I feel like it's just a waste of energy, and it's not efficient to just let the Bronzong drop. Plus, now I can Psychic him a couple more times, or Confusion him a couple more times. So Lucario comes out, 2 fast attacks. I do have a shield up for him. Power-up punch into a Lapras. That's gonna hurt. Now I can just fast move this. It should go down, except he has a Surf. Shield it, so I can punch him. There we go. Alright, so that's the end of round 5. Round 6, finals match against Fox Villain. Well, it's not really the finals match, but it's the final round. So he has a Steelix, Lapras, Lucario, Altaria, Blaziken, and Bronzong. So he's also employing the Bronzong strategy. Bronzong lead against my Bronzong lead. While we wait for this tanky matchup to conclude, let's talk about Bronzong. So remember how I mentioned that Bronzong beats Lucario, Altaria, and Lapras with one shield? Well, yeah, he does. But he doesn't do so by a lot. For example, against Lucario, you actually have to shield once against the power-up punch in order to beat Lucario. So now you're down one shield. But what he's good at is beating Lapras, Lucario, and Altaria at the lead position. That's really just the main point of this. So that covers 3 whole leads with one Pokemon. That's a very safe lead. Plus we saw the Bronzong Bastiodon matchup, and he actually did quite well there, considering how Bastiodon has so much defense that most Pokemon barely tickle that Pokemon. So now, battle number 2. So Bronzong against Lucario. This is a good matchup for me. So we'll see how it plays out. So once again, I mentioned he's gonna get one power-up punch, or Shadow Ball, which is why I always shield the first move that Lucario does. So now that Lucario would have dropped if he didn't shield it. So now my Bronzong is against Steelix. I'm gonna let my Bronzong drop because it's a Steelix. I can just let my Lucario out. He's locked into that Steelix, by the way. So just fast moves, but I'm gonna power up punch just in case I can burn a shield, which he saves for his Lucario probably. So now, that moment of hesitation, I know that he's in a very bad position. When people wait like that, I know that they don't have a counter for the Pokemon I have left. So now my phone bugs out, it just kind of freeze frames here, but we know that it was a Blaziken and Lucario, and this is an Altaria, so this Altaria would have 1v2'd both of those. So congratulations to Catch the Rye. End of tournament, here's the points. I tied for 4th with a winner Lips Touch. So I just want to give a special thank you to the Chino Hills admins. Thank you Matt, thank you John, thank you Peter, and thank you Lauren. You guys make the Chino Hills tournament such an awesome time. So for the people that don't know, they put up the finals match on a big screen. Everybody watches, everybody gets into it. This time they had raffles, there's a bar, you can get drinks, there's food. It's just a great time, so if you're nearby, you should come check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.